I'm not even joking as I record this game review. Like, McAvoy is in like the center of an end game scrum. Oh my god. Bruins win. Bruins defeat the Colorado Avalanche, the top team in the Western Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to talk about a moral victory, a victory that was needed. I mean, I'm trying to turn on the BU game. That came at the best time, the perfect time, especially to end like end your homestand. Let's be honest, guys. The Bruins have been in every single one of these games that they've played in. There is absolutely zero doubt with that. I'm going to turn down the volume with this. There's absolutely no doubt that the Bruins have been in every single game that they have played in. Okay? And when you take a look at this game, the Saturday matinee, and what it means for the team, it's a perfect good mood dub, right? Because there's just so many kinks that have been going on with the team early on, so many questions that we've been asking as Bruins fans about the team, like the offense in some games, like the top six wouldn't score, the bottom six would score. Then in some games, defensive breakdowns were just not there, right? Some games, actually, you can't even question the goaltending. It's been super stellar. You could see that today too. And yeah, in general, like today, everything that we've been looking for out of this Bruins team, what we saw in the first couple of games, perfectly came together today. And I'm coming right off the game. We're doing the game review. It is a game review. It is a game review kind of Saturday matinee, and I just want to get off the rip because after that Anaheim game, that was not something I wanted. That was not. I was near breaking point. I won't say I was fully at breaking point, but when you think about the Ducks game, how the Bruins allowed, those entries, those defensive breakdowns weren't there. I'd been saying on my Instagram, I was like, you need to shift the defense. You saw the Bruins do that. You don't have Hampus Lindholm in this game. It's been a while since the guy has been able to play. No matter, we need to take a look at the lineups and do a quick breakdown for those who weren't able to watch it. I know some of you are just going to look at the highlights, but quick little lineup look for you guys. Geeky, Lindholm, Pastrnak, Middlestat, Zacha, Arvidsson. Let's be honest, ever since they've shifted Middlestat to left wing, he has been, ever since he's been come off of from being scratched, guy's been a dog. Okay, Zacha also has been a dog too. Second line has been a dog. They popped in this game for sure. Third line, Jeannot, Minton, Isamont. Those guys go back together after being away from each other for a game. And boy, did they cook this game too. Beecher, Corrali, Kostelic. Beecher slots in for Jeffrey VL, who slots out. And yeah, your defensive pairings. This was my big focus heading into this game on Friday. I was looking at them in practice. Not what I expected, but I like it. I liked it, and I liked it too. Or I liked it now. Zadorov, McAvoy, low Ryan Peak, and then Callahan and Henri Jokiharju. Swayman got the start. My goodness, boys. What a game we had here. So, majority of the first period, I have to say, didn't go the way you want to start. It felt like the fourth line, I'm looking at my notes here, the fourth line was like the only line that felt like it was able to generate any sort of like offense or any sort of chances. The Bruins were just hemmed in their own zone. Yeah, so Arturi Lehkonen scored in the first period, like really quickly. It was nearly 5 minutes into the frame. And if you remember, I remember, it was one of those goals where the Bruins defensive breakdown definitely showed through. I feel like it's been a recurring theme with the Bruins this year is their defensive breakdowns, especially when the puck goes behind the net. It's something that I feel like they need to work on, they need to get better at. And, you just watch back on the goal visualizer, right? The Avalanche did a lot, or they played a lot of their offensive plays behind the net, and it's a miscue, but it's okay because they didn't allow a goal after that until, of course, the third period. Anyways, look, the point is, after that, The rest of the period goes by. It's kind of skittish. It doesn't feel like the Bruins are possessing the puck. You know, they're staying composed, right? That's good. The team is staying composed. They're staying competitive, but at the end of the period is really where things start to ramp up. And you could see that the Bruins took advantage of Colorado's mistakes, which you love to see. And I think it's something that the Bruins are going to be doing a lot more of, or it's just something that it's a strength. A strength that the Bruins have is taking advantage of teams' mistakes, and they're going to have to, because over the course of these losses that we've seen out of the Bruins, it feels like they've been, or just in general, the way they've had to play is, and we talked about this before, reactive to other teams. But in this game, it was reactive, and then they built on that reaction and made the other team react, which was awesome. So when you're being reactive can go one of two ways. It's a good thing, but it can also go sideways. It's gone sideways for the Bruins recently. But man, in the neutral zone, they really just the mistakes that Colorado made, they took advantage of it, going off the rush. I mean, 2 goals in 39 seconds to end the first period. What? Are you kidding me? Victor Arvidsson scores his first as a Bruin. I did not want to be skeptical on Victor Arvidsson at all. Like I said, at the 6th consecutive loss, I was like a Creed song, almost 6 feet under, or 6 feet from the edge. Sorry. I was near my breaking point with that game, and I was really going to start questioning things. I kind of did question things. Victor Arvidsson was, I don't want to say was on the top of my list of being one of the things to question, but it was like, he's got to get through with a goal. He's got to score, right? And he got it. It was a very weird one. It was an interesting one. He was behind the net, shot it off of Scott Wedgwood's blocker, but hey, it ricocheted in, waffle board that thing. So you could tell how happy Arvidsson was too to get that. He's been, I will say, even though people were skeptical of him, it just felt like for him, he's just been playing so fast, so active in the play, so I couldn't really get on it. I couldn't get on him. For me, at least, I couldn't get on him. So it's good to see him break through, get his first goal, and you hope he builds on it. It was, it was a great transition play too. Puck gets dumped in. I'm just watching it back. Middle stat, some puck protection. Oh, we need to talk about Mason Lohrei, by the way. We'll talk about Mason Lohrei. We will get to Lohrei in the defense. But yeah, you love to see Arvidsson get that. And then let's just mention here, okay, 2 of our new signings. The Bash Bros next to Fraser Minton became Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, or should we say, what did I call them? Tanner McJanot and Mikey Dreisimont. Awesome. You love to see Lohrei with the nice breakout pass. 50-50 play. Janot wins it, takes advantage of it, 2-on-1. What a move. Janot, by the way, this game had a lot more jump, I have to say. He was playing very composed, very structured, almost in a non-noticeable sense, but, today he had some jump to his game, and I liked that. I enjoyed seeing that. He was very, very noticeable in his game. So you enter the first intermission, you're up 2-1. The vibes are immaculate at this point of the game. What else happened? Let's see. I mean, anyways. So yeah, second period was I felt a lot of the the same stuff, but the Bruins took the momentum from that 2-1 lead, and they kept going with it, right? So as I mentioned before, we talk about how the Bruins were playing reactive, right? In a sense, they were doing good in those neutral zone takeaways. They played a lot better, and they built off the momentum. They built off of it, and it was great to see, because building up to it at the end of the second period, who else but Morgan Geekie pulling a 2021 Craig Smith, catching Scott Wedgwood sleeping a bit, and he pots it before the end of the period. It was another great play by Geekie that just kind of brought together a really good structured second period, so just kind of seeing that being put all together was really awesome. I'm trying to find anything else that I was thinking of. Oh yeah, here's another thing I wanted to take away real quick. You're scoring from mistakes. I've already said that. Yeah, at this point of the game, Mason Lohrei has tallied an assist on all three of the Bruins goals. And I wanted to discuss the defensive switches and tie Lohrei into it. Shout out to him. Shout out to him getting these three apples, cuz I wanted to talk about the defensive shifts if the Bruins were to win this game, or if the defense got their kinks out and figured it out, which they did this game. They did. It was awesome. Swayman was amazing too. We'll get into him in a second. But real quick, on Lohrei, right? I talked about the defensive pairings. And I had said going into the season that McAvoy coming off an injury, you would want to pair him with a defender who my take was you should put him with Hampus. Hampus is offensively minded, right? Both of them coming off injuries. Hampus is very composed, very experienced, and he would allow McAvoy to bring out more of his defensive physical side of his game, while Hampus could do most of the dirty work in the transition in the offensive zone. That so far has been the responsibility more of Nikita Zadorov, not to the entirety of Hampus Lindholm, but when you look at the downhill plays that Nikita Zadorov has been able to make, including one of the goals in the Ducks game, how he was able to generate that when he gets going, like skating through the neutral zone with the puck, nobody wants to challenge him. It is so funny to watch. But no, in general, they were talking about on Nesson, and I wholeheartedly agreed. Zadorov's easily been your best defenseman. And when you take into account the kinks that Charlie McAvoy has needed to get out, and the fact that Mason Lohrei is still trying to come into his own on the defensive side of his game, I felt like that switch was needed. Like, Lohrei needs to be able to drive the offense, have a partner like Andrew Peak, who can play more to the defensive side of the role, and at the same time, Lohrei can build his defensive game on the defensive side of things without having to play a top line forward or a top forward line every single time and, make a bunch of mistakes, right? I feel like this will be good for Lohrei to build that up, right? And you could tell on the offensive side of things, he was able to be free. And we want that from Mason Lohrei. There's so much upside to his offensive game, but also he'll be able to grow defensively by not having to play every team's top line guys every night. You know what I mean? So I think that'll do some good for his development. For McAvoy, playing with a much more composed, experienced guy like Nikita Zadorov, it takes some of the responsibility off of him while he gets his kinks out too. And you could see in this game, I felt like he was a lot more of himself. I mean, the Bruins in total on defense, and this is credit to the team as a whole, but the team defense, I had like a post that heavily criticized the team defense. 33 block shots right away. 33 block shots against a very tough Colorado Avalanche team. The Avalanche had 33 shots on goal. I don't know how that works, but that's insane. Like, that's pretty good. So the defense, good on Marco Sturm. I'm giving Marco Sturm the props here. You recognized a need to shift. You shifted. It was a good shift because look at the turnout, the result. We had talked about the Bruins' inability to hold the lead. Ty Anderson's been putting up the stats all the time that within 6 minutes, 5 minutes of the Bruins retaining a lead, they've not been able to hold it. And I mean, it's frustrating too, because it makes your heart jump. You're watching the game on edge, and especially against the Ducks game, that was pushing me to the edge with how much the lead was changing and how unable the Bruins were unable to hold the lead. They had to start doing that. What better way to do it against a Western Conference behemoth like the Colorado Avalanche, right? So, I mean, up until like 18 seconds in the game when it was like a 6-on-5, right? You held the lead for the entirety of the game. Basically, after the first period, you held the lead. You did not let Colorado take over. You made it more difficult for them to enter the zone, and when they did, you kept them to the outside, and if they got to the middle, Jeremy Swayman was there. Jeremy Swayman was there time and time again. The goaltending has been there. I mean, just class, man, just class. This is what you paid him for, and it's just really comforting as a Bruins fan, considering all the good goaltending we've been blessed with throughout my lifetime, and even before I was born. You just look at the history of Bruins goaltending. It's just you've always had solid goalies, right? And credit to Swayman and Korpisalo for just staying consistent, man. That's all I wanted out of the goalies this year. They've been consistent. We're 10 games into the season, and I know the record doesn't look the way we want, but man, you're coming off of a very, very good win, off of another stellar goaltending performance in the crease for the Boston Bruins. So, yeah, pretty good altogether for the boys there. I'm trying to think of anything else on my points that I had. But yeah, they held the lead. They held the lead. They stayed structured. They won those 50-50 puck battles. That's exactly what you have to do to win these kinds of games. We know the Bruins can compete in these games. We know they have been. But when you see how they were able to take their mistakes, fix them, or not their mistakes, they were able to just build and generate the momentum. And just as the game went on, it just felt like, the team defense, the goaltending, you know what I mean? You didn't make too many mistakes, and you took advantage of opportunity when it presented, right? That's the kind of Bruins hockey that's going to win you these games, but you have to be consistent with it. And they were. They were tonight. It was so awesome, so entertaining. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I can't exactly think of anything else except for the fact that, yeah, that was a good win. That was a much needed win. You set the tone. So, hold on, I'm trying to look at the Bruins schedule here. So the Bruins after this, you have a really good game, and you beat a very good Colorado team. You give them their first regulation loss of the season. Statement right there, boys. It's awesome. You got a bit of a road trip. A little bit of a road trip to end off October. You're going to Ottawa. They don't have Brady Tkachuk. Oh wait, not even a bit of a road trip. Sorry, the Islanders are coming back here and playing us on Tuesday night. Matthew Schaefer comes to town, boys. So there's that. Then we host the Sabres. So I don't know what I was talking about with a road trip. Well, there you go. Anyways, yeah, no, it's just you look at leading into this game, all the kinks that the Bruins have had, all the questions surrounding the team, and just like, can they do it? I'm just gonna say that I wasn't down on them as much as you would expect. Obviously, like all the losing, it will get to you as a fan. It's gonna get to you as a fan, and it stinks, especially when you watch them compete the way they are, the way they're in every single game, the way the score isn't. You know what I mean? The way the score isn't completely out of it. And I was almost at a point where I was questioning, why haven't we made a call up to one of the young guys, right? Providence is like 5-0, and the offense is humming. Well, me more than anyone, I want to see Fabian Lysell come into the fold, right? So for me, like, that's something I want to see within the near future, but it's like you talk about how the team as a whole is just coming together. They've been playing competitive hockey. And it's like now you see them put it together, and they stay consistent. They don't fare away. There isn't a bad puck bounce like the peak goal against Florida. They don't have or they allow a bad defensive breakdown, late in the game that led to the Troy Terry goal against the Ducks, right? That stuff was not seen after that Arturi Lehkonen goal. It was not seen. It was vacant It was vacant from my mind. And even if Colorado did generate a chance, because they're one of those teams that's supposed to contend for a Stanley Cup. They are really good. Even when they were able to break through, Swayman stopped them. So it's just simple as it sounds, as boring as it sounds. It's a full 60-minute performance. It's a full 60 minutes, and it's great. It's great to see. It's great to see the Bruins able to do that. And man, it would have been great to see the Nordiques jerseys. I would have loved to have seen that little jersey matchup. But what are you gonna do? Bruins get a third yellow jersey, please. I don't know if I got anything else. Also, David Pastrnak decided to just he had a quick little solo move real quick. I got to shout him out. He play creates so much, we forget how good he is as an individual one-on-one player. He just reminds us casually by making that sick move. But I'm trying to think of any other points I can make. Yeah, also, real quick. Brent Burns, when he went in to try and fish the puck out from Swayman, I think it was in the third period that led to Burns going to the box. You love to see the response from the team, just jump him like that. And even better, on the power play, they what was it? The Bruins allowed a 2-on-1, I think. And I forget who went after Swayman again for a loose puck. But the PP1 was literally jumping on top of the Avs. And even at the end of the game, it was McAvoy and McKinnon going at it. That's Bruins hockey. You love to see it. Jack Edwards is at the game too, firing up the crowd. It was altogether, it's a game that makes you feel good. You see all the right things done, and you just didn't feel as of course the start of the game was bumpy, low event for the Bruins, but then, just as the game goes on, you just felt comfortable. You felt comfortable in the game. They did. I just kept thinking it. I didn't want to say it out loud. It's like saying shutout. It's like saying shutout and then the goaltender allows one. I didn't want to say they're not allowing a goal. They're actually not allowing a goal. But they didn't allow a goal. They held the lead. I was like, they're holding the lead. They're holding the lead. So it's really good to see. It's really good to see. Hopefully they build on this. They got Ottawa next. They got the Islanders, the Sabres. Should be some pretty fun games there. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on the game. I'm trying to think of everything. Yeah, that's it. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this Bruins game. What you thought of the team's performance as a whole, how they can build on it. And anything you noticed, I'd love to hear it. So, yeah. Bruins beat the Avs. Let's go. Back in the win column. So, yeah. Shout out Casey Middlestat and the whole second line. I love the second line so much. I love all the Bruins fans, and I love you guys. I love you guys the most. So, go Bees. Thanks for watching. And, yeah, I will see you legends in the next one. Bye-bye.